Today I'm going to show you a new branch I've just added to the Pennsylvania and Ohio route I'm developing. It's called the North Fork branch, and I will cover the features of this branch as well as a full demonstration of the entire branch train operations with all the industry's important features. So let's get into it. Before I go any further, I would like to apologise for the long delay since my last video. In that last video, I did promise to upload another chapter on the Pennsylvania and Ohio Railroad, outlining the newest branch, the North Fork Turn branch, all about coal mines and tipples. However, that plan all came to a screaming halt because of the number of bugs in Trainz TRS2019 relating to crossing gates that stopped working, then tunnel splines that didn't work, and a long-running investigation of what I thought was another bug, but which just recently has been acknowledged as a performance problem in surveyor, relating to missing frogs and flanges on switches, or points if you know them under that term. All of these problems forced me to stop development, and I couldn't make a video that I wanted because of some of these bugs as well as the performance problems I was having in surveyor. First, the good news. I've just been advised by N3V Quality Assurance that all the above mentioned bugs, excluding the last mentioned surveyor performance problem, have been fixed in the last update. Because of this significant delay, I lost a month of development time, and now I can continue to develop the video in the North Fork Turn branch. Then the bad news. For personal reasons, we are selling our home and moving to one which better suits our needs, but it does mean a break from making videos until early September, possibly even a little longer, as my PC will be disabled, that is, sitting in boxes, at least for a while, giving me the time to get everything organised in the new home. However, once the PC is back up, I can continue some development of the Pennsylvania-Ohio Railroad, ready for the next video when it's practical to do so. For now, I can complete an introduction to the Pennsylvania and Ohio North Fork branch, which has recently been added to the P&O route that I've been presenting here for some time. I hope you enjoy it. This first map shows the Pennsylvania and Ohio Railroad as it exists now, that is, before we had the North Fork branch. Essentially, it starts at the city of Ashfield and runs for some 45 miles as the crow flies, all the way to Elkhorn City, where the Clinchfield Railroad begins its operations. The track length is something like 65 miles. The North Fork branch starts at the Fullerton Interchange Yard, with the map now showing the North Fork branch, and runs north and west for some 15 miles to North Fork tipple number 1 and then to number 2. And between the two tipples is the mining town known as North Fork Village, shown here. This part of the branch has a relatively gentle grade. However, after leaving North Fork tipple number 2, it goes through a tunnel and heads up a heavy grade, up to 3% in places, for about 5 miles where it reaches North Fork tipple number 3, and this is where the branch currently finishes. The branch has a passing siding at North Fork South, shown here. It also has a gravel and limestone quarry some 2 miles before tipple number 1, with its own yard to assemble loaded gravel and limestone trains returning to Fullerton Yard. The branch then passes through 2 tunnels before reaching North Fork tipple number 1. Continuing into the North Fork Village Station and onto North Fork tipple number 2. The rest of this video will show you various detailed aspects of the North Fork branch and some of the typical trains that will run on the branch from time to time. Let's start with a load of empty hopper cars in Fullerton Interchange Yard, ready to depart for North Fork tipple number 1. And then it proceeds on to tipple number 2 to collect a load of coal hoppers. Each hopper has a full load of coal and is then ready to go back to Fullerton Yard. This schedule is known as the North Fork Turn. Before I start this clip, I should give you a brief rundown of the steam locomotives we're using. This was the largest 210 decapod built for the Pennsylvania Railroad, and indeed was the largest decapod built in the United States. And between 1916 and 1923, there were 598 of these engines built. They produced 90,000 pounds tractive effort. Their pulling power was undeniable. But they were not popular with the crews, for they were very rough riding at all but the very lowest of speeds. Because of the large boilers, the size of the drivers were limited, which made it impossible to mount counterweights large enough to balance the piston thrusts, which resulted in the engine pounding the rails constantly, and giving them the nickname the Holy Terror of the Pennsylvania Railroad. Despite these problems, these engines lasted until the very end of steam on the Pennsylvania Railroad in 1957. In 1954, the Pennsylvania and Ohio Railroad leased a number of these engines from the Pennsylvania Railroad, and they ran on the Pennsylvania and Ohio Railroad until 1960, when steam engines were finally vanquished from the rails. Only one of the Pennsylvania Railroad decapods survives today, and none of the Pennsylvania and Ohio Railroad engines survived at all.